Hi folks, this is All the Fruit. Today I want to research the question whether it is possible to grow edible banana species outdoors in Germany without winter protection. The answer is definitely yes, as this nice big plant proves, but also kinda no. Well, this is Musa sikkimensis, the Sikkim or Himalaya banana. However, if I passed by it like this, I would not have recognized it. The story how I found out about this plant is quite bizarre in itself. Friends of mine, Klaus and Rosie, who are great gardeners and very vivid plant collectors, used to live in this little street. And now they live in a different place, but they told me, yeah, our neighbor, they have an enzete in their garden and they don't bring it in winter. We are talking about what bananas we can grow in Germany, and they said, that's not possible. You need to overwinter enzete at least 10 degrees above zero. And they said, no, neighbors definitely have for it. It has been in the ground for several years. Then they showed me this plant on Google Street View, and it looks like the normal basil, which is more or less common here in Germany. I mean, I guess in 1 out of 100, 200 gardens you will find the Musa basil. And it's frost hardy here. But they said, no, they used to have an enzete. I said, well, the one on Google Street View is definitely a basil, but oh, hello kitty. Are you an exotic fruit plant too? Oh, that's a big one. Well, I came here in early May, and all the young leaves down here were red. I thought, jackpot. This is not enzete, this is not basil, this is Musa sikkimensis. And then when I came later, a couple months, everything looked kind of green, and I thought, this definitely looks like a basil now. Here is a Musa basil bunch in the nearby gardens. They are quite short this year. The pseudostems are about 1.50 meters, like 4 to 5 feet tall. This is because the winter was quite harsh and the spring was late and cold, so they don't grow as big as they grow in hot years. And of course, in mountain areas where this thing can still survive, it's even shorter, while in the Mediterranean, where it grows in areas where even other bananas can grow, it's more than twice as tall. Let's see. So Musa basil, not a trace of red. Sometimes they are, over there a midrib has a trace of pink, a very young midrib in the background here. And also some young leaves could have red spots underneath, but basically no trace, almost no trace of red. And also those kind of wings along the petioles, they go down into the pseudostem and they are kind of wavy. Pretty small differences when you look at the adult plant. That's why if you just drove by and didn't check it very thoroughly, you wouldn't see the difference. But after a banana expert has explained it to you, not me, the banana expert who explained it to me, it's possible to keep them apart even when mature. And of course it's much easier when young, because sikkimensis will be quite red. In the next street over, there is a Musa enzete, coincidentally also in a pot, which in this case makes more sense because it's definitely not frost hardy here. However, most people would plant it out in spring and then bring in the corm or the underground bulb in autumn. It needs to overwinter at least 10 degrees centigrade. Definitely an enzete. Ventricosum maurelii. Yeah, very thick pseudostem, no suckers, and those conspicuous red, pink petioles and midrips. Then, about a week ago, I was here with a banana expert, with a banana collector. From the distance, he said, looks like Bazio. But then he came closer, and he zoned this, the red midrip. And he said, this is not Bazio, this is sikkimensis. He said, also look at those things here. In Bazio, they would be wavy and not so dried up. So definitely not Bazio. Also those red midrips, Bazio doesn't have those. And also, since I saw everything was red in spring, definitely sikkimensis. Okay, a couple days later I came here, I met the owner, and she gave me a lot of interesting information. Firstly, she said, yeah, it's just a sterile fiber banana. I said, I think it's a Himalaya banana, Musa sikkimensis. She said, yes, when we bought it like 8 years ago from Dana Garden Center, this is like one of the big chains here in Germany for gardening stuff. It says something about Himalaya. I said, yeah, and that's why it's different from what everybody else has, because 95% of people in Germany have the Japanese banana. You have the Himalaya banana. Interesting, she said. Yeah, she said, but immediately she said, yeah, it's sterile. It has never produced flowers or fruits. Then I asked her a lot of details about it. She said, yeah, 8 years ago from Dana. She said it has a lot of pups and you have to, yeah, they're giving them away all the time to people, and she said she can give me some too. You see a couple really nice tiny pups here. She says sometimes you also have to remove parts of it because it's just overwhelming the garden. Also, she said this, I asked about this part here, what happened, and she said, yeah, they just died without flowering. Here is a dried up piece of the corm. Here another one, another one. She said it's sterile, it never flowered. Well, the thing is, until like 15 years ago, I had never seen Bazio flowering in Germany. Like until 25 years ago, Bazio was only to be found in like botanic gardens. And they always protect it with like 1 meter or 1.5 meter of dry leaves on top of it. Nowadays, a lot of botanic gardens still do this, some don't do this. A lot of people don't protect their Bazio at all. And nowadays, seeing flowers and even unripe fruits is kind of normal with Bazio. But she said, never with this one. Never flowers or fruits. Well, if it had flowered, she would have been quite surprised because the flowers look different than for Bazio. Yeah, the flowers look different. The fruits also look different. They are edible and reportedly tasty, although they have seeds. But yeah, she says this thing never had flowers or fruits. The pseudostems just died, yeah, without flowering. Why? Tell me if you know. Maybe there could be some genetic reason, but I guess our summers are just not long and hot enough for it. Although the last couple years, the summers were pretty hot. However, yeah, she told me I'm allowed to take a couple pups from this. So now my plan is, okay, it grows really well outdoors in Germany. The only protection they do is they chop off the pseudostems and then cover the corm with the pseudostems and leaves. This might also be the reason why it never flowers, because they chop off the buds which are inside the pseudostems. That also can happen with Bazio. Well, but my plan is to plant a couple of those things in the greenhouse of my friend Doro, which is less than a kilometer away over there in the fields. He shares a giant 2,000 square meter greenhouse. There, of course, in winter you can keep this banana corm dry so that there is no risk of freezing, and maybe even the pseudostems will not freeze. It's an unheated greenhouse. And then in summer, of course, the growth season is much longer, and the heat sub throughout summer is of course much longer because of the greenhouse effect. So that's my idea. Bring one of those things into Doro's greenhouse. Not chop off the pseudostems in autumn. And then wait if we get flowers and maybe fruits next year. It's a greenhouse. Greenhouse bananas in Germany exist and they're very tasty if you get the right variety, but this would be an unheated greenhouse. So basically something in between the greenhouse and the outdoors. So folks, what do you think about this Musa sikkimensis? Or maybe you think it's not Musa sikkimensis. If not, then tell me your ideas. Also tell me, do you think that we are gonna have edible bananas here in the unheated greenhouse soon? Apart from that, stay tuned for a lot more fruit videos from the beautiful and extremely fruit-rich city of Heidelberg in Germany. And of course, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe.